Hello and welcome to the webinar on how to understand a tournament. I'm going to show you, excuse me, how to understand reading a bracket and understand some of your wait times and things like that. My name is Jenna. I will be guiding you through this. I am a tournament player and tournament director as well. So I'll kind of be able to give you guys both perspectives. And then we're going to also quick talk about our newest feature too, about how to enter your scores right from your phone. So first things first, though, when you are doing a tournament, I would highly recommend turning your texting on. So if you go to your profile and then click edit profile, this is just like a dummy profile here, just a fake profile, but I wanted to show you where it is. If you just scroll down a little bit, your text messages are here. So you're going to get copies of scores, court assignments. You'll get a link to enter your own scores. Again, new feature for us. So it's really going to be important to have those things turned on and ready to go. Not every tournament director chooses to use texting, but if they do, you want to make sure that you are ready to go. So that's kind of first thing first. Second thing is if you go to pickleball.com, you can get to, or pickleballtournaments.com, you can get to the tournament section and find your tournament. On your phone, I'll show you this in a second. If you're on your phone and you're registered for a tournament, it should just pop up right for you, like, oh, you're playing in this tournament. Again, I'll show you that here in a second. And then let's just say we're going to the Grand Haven Coast Guard Festival tournament that actually starts tomorrow. You can see what this would look like with the players in the queue and on the court. And that's where you could find, like, if you're playing in a specific event, you could go to events. And again, it's waiting to start because it's starting tomorrow, but this is one just in my hometown. You can click on draws and results and find out a little bit more if you're just following along or if you're in that bracket. So I'm going to show you our demo tournament here. So this, again, just a demo tournament. As you can see, it goes all the way back to 2022. Again, we have events in there that we just constantly are testing with. So with the players in the queue, what this means, this is really handy for you, especially as you're playing, whether it's a double elimination tournament or even a round robin. If you're using all of the courts in the venue, and you're not, like, say you're not playing on courts 1, 2, and 3 or whatever, you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on this to know when you're coming up next. So I just got done playing in Beer City Open a few weeks ago, and this was really, really handy because they had a big list of, so it was, this is a match, right? And they had a big list, all the way down showing who was next up in the queue. So obviously that's just over 1,000 players in that tournament. So you could see precisely, okay, we're at the bottom of the list. We have, 7 teams in front of us. So this makes up one match here. And you can tell that by, they have the same bracket and they are the same match number. So you can just count like pairs and say, okay, I'm 4th in the queue. I should be coming up soon. And then you got to have your phone in your hand to figure out when your match is coming up. And then if you go to players on the court, these are the players that are currently playing. So you can find where you are at, or my parents actually use this a lot. Again, Beer City was a very big, large tournament with I think there's about 21 courts there, but I want to say they use maybe 19 or 18 for the actual playing portion of it, just because of, bleachers and whatnot, all the stuff they got to bring in. But if I didn't text them or whatever to say, hey, I'm on court 7 next, and they would just come on here and see where I was at. So they were paying attention to that too. So I think the most common thing and kind of the idea or as you can see, it does refresh every 45 seconds too. Otherwise you can hit the refresh button. But what I was going to say was, I think the biggest thing that I heard at Beer City, for example, and Beer City is a double elimination tournament, just as an FYI or for context. So was people would say, I waited an hour and a half. And I kind of, I didn't run Beer City, but as a tournament director myself, I understood why that was. And it kind of spurred this tournament or this webinar on, because we just wanted to help the general public understand sometimes why that is. So let's go to events here, and we will pull up the brackets that we are running. And I want to take a look at, we'll just take a look at this mixed doubles 4-0 event, 55 plus. If we go to draws and results, we're going to get a picture of what our bracket looks like. Side note, if I was playing in this bracket, what I do is on my phone, I keep a tab of this open, and then I keep a tab for which matches are in the queue so that I can follow along. Like, say if, again, this is a demo tournament, but let's say I'm July, and we win this one, I want to know who we're playing next. Or say we lose this one, then we're like, okay, this is match 1, so loser is going down here. So, okay, I've got to wait to see, we're going to play the loser of match 7, right? So you may be waiting a little bit for that. Okay, so that's what I do, is I just keep a tab open for this bracket so I can follow along and I know who I'm going to be playing next. And sometimes you can go over and sneak a peek at who you're going to be playing next, which is really sometimes handy to do. So again, this is probably a good example of why you might wait an hour and a half. So you can see there's 3 slots here. That means the score is set up to play best 2 out of 3. So let's say this match did go to 3 games, and then the loser is going to go down here. This is backdraw, so loser of 1. And then now we have this match playing, right? So we have to wait for this match to be done, and now we have to wait for this match to be done in order to get this loser of 7 here. So this, if they go to 3, especially with it being a 55 plus bracket, sometimes that might take an hour to an hour and a half to get through just this round. But now the winner of this has to go here, and they have to play another potential 2 out of 3. So they might go to 3 games again. So again, the loser of this one would eventually get down here. But our match was out a long time ago. So we were done, right? So this is why in particular cases, you may wait, because you're waiting for a specific loser. You're waiting for the loser of a specific match to come down and play you in the loser's bracket here. So again, the loser of match 6 is going to go here. And this is why it's really important to keep this open and keep this up on your phone, so that you know precisely, okay, we're waiting for this match, and then we have to wait for this match. So that's why we're waiting right now. I'm not going to lie to you. It could be sometimes that the tournament director overbooks stuff, but most of the time, it's just because you're waiting for a specific loser to come from a specific location, right? So let's take a look at this loser of 4 and the loser of 2. So loser of 4 is out here. So that's in the round of 8 that probably hasn't gotten sent out yet. And then loser of 2. So this is another case where the loser of 2 is going to be sitting and then waiting for the loser of 4. And it all depends on how many teams are in your bracket, right? So this is a bracket of 11 teams. So all of these are just a little bit more staggered, right? So you have, if we would have had 12, we would have had another team here and then 4 with a bye, but we have 5 teams basically with a bye into the round of 8. I'll quick go and look at another bracket. Let's see. Our 3-5, we have a 3-5, 8 to 49, which I'll go find that a second. I'm scrolling down here. So this one has 8 teams in it. So it's a nice, even kind of like spread, right? So we have all of our 8 teams in our round of 8 because there's 8 teams. And so we don't have anybody waiting. So let's go back down and look at our losers, our pack draw. So loser of 1 plays loser of 2. So this is a case, so this is a bracket that there probably isn't going to be a lot of waiting time. The only exception is if this game goes to 3 matches and this game is like 11-1, 11-2 or something like that. Obviously, this one's going to go very fast. At Beer City, I had a match that was like, I don't know, 5 or 7 minutes. Just went so fast, quick points. And then other matches where each game was more like 20 or 25. So in total, on our winner side, we went to 3 matches every single time. And so sometimes our brackets or each match for my team, my partner's team, went probably an hour and 20 minutes, I would say, at least. So sometimes if you have a slower team or a team that's just has longer points and a team that's just maybe, blowing right through the other team, they could go fast and yours could go slow. And that sometimes does cause waits as well. So keep an eye on your scores too, because that will tell you sometimes why you are waiting as well. But again, this is a bracket that you shouldn't have too bad of wait times. And what I like to do is I just, like, let's say I'm Franklin and we won this match, right? What I like to do is I'll come back here and I will say, oh, we play the winner of this game. Let's go to court 7 a second and see who is going to win that one. We can get a heads up and watch them. So that's what I would do in that case. And then it kind of makes it so that you aren't, just sitting there mindlessly wondering what is going to happen next. So make sure you have these open and make sure that you are following along on that as well. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to quick talk about too is last minute changes. So oftentimes we as tournament directors have a cutoff of, it depends on how big the tournament is, right? But for like an average tournament for me between 200 and 400 people or so, it's about 10 days in advance for the tournament. This gives me time to set up brackets, get start times out to people in a timely manner, and just be able to set everything up. Once I have everything set up, there is very limited space on how many changes we can make. Because of court space, you don't want to overbook your tournament. And sometimes people are like, well, my duper decreased to 3-9. Can I play a 3-5 bracket now? No, because the tournament's like the schedule's made and it's done. And if I start moving people around, it could cause longer wait times on one side of the tournament and empty courts on the other side of the tournament. So that's often why tournament directors don't accept changes after a certain amount of time. So really crucial that you are registering for the correct event. So if you have a 3.97 duper, I really want to encourage you to register for a 4.0 bracket. It challenges yourself, but if there's any slight chance that your rating is going to increase, people will probably get upset at you for playing or for, being accepted into the wrong bracket or signing up for the wrong bracket or whatever. But just make sure you are registering for the bracket that you want to play in. And again, I always encourage people to, if you're really close right on that cusp, just go up and see how you fare, challenge yourself in that next in that next step up. I often say too, if there's room in my tournaments to move people around, I'll keep an eye on people's duper ratings just to make sure that things haven't changed. But because they're constantly fluctuating, there has to be a cutoff for us at some point. So let's say that 3.97 player decided to stay in a 3.5, and now it's 1 week before the tournament, and they just played in a tournament, and now they're 4.2. I don't always have room to move them because the schedule has been made. There's often nothing we can do if a tournament was just the weekend before. Sometimes there is, but oftentimes the schedule is set and it's kind of too late at that point. And like I said, we do have to have a cutoff just for our own sanity of like not just watching the tournament like a hawk and watching everybody's registrations. And for me personally, I go through everybody's registrations like 3 weeks prior to the event. And then I put that in the tournament description, just say, hey, we're going to go through everybody's ratings. If your rating increased, you're going to be automatically bumped to the next higher bracket without notice, as long as there's room. I do put that caveat in there too, because sometimes there's not room. Okay, and then last but not least, I said I wanted to talk to you about entering scores from your phone. So this is a new feature for us, and it's so super simple. We did a little bit of testing on it the other day, just within our staff, and they made it even easier too, where you get a text message and you get a link right from your message to click on it, and you get brought right to the score section. So again, make sure you have your texting on. And what we would say is one person from the winning team will enter the score, and then one person from the losing team will confirm the score. That's kind of what we recommend to our tournament directors, because if you and your partner are entering the winning score, you will probably get an error because it's two people entering the same score at the same time. So just designate one of you to do that, and that will help things move a little bit more fluidly. So let me just quick go and show you here what that would look like. Okay, so if you pull up the tournament on your phone, this is what I was talking about earlier, where it's saying, hey, you're scheduled to play in this event. It should pop up right there for you. Before this was live at Beer City, I had this as well. So I went right to pickleballtournaments.com. It popped right up for me that week, and it was saying, hey, you're playing in this tournament. Go to your current match or bracket, what have you. So this is what it should look like for you. View your current match, and then next, you will be brought to a section to enter your score. Obviously, you can see save score and finish match. So if you've entered, like let's say you just enter game one, this 12-10, you can hit save score there so you don't lose it. I know sometimes remembering 3 scores is really hard. I always have to write that down myself, like, wait a second, what was that first game again? So once you're all finished, hit finish match. It'll ask you to confirm, make sure that you're, saying finish match, and then you'll be done with that. So then on the opponent side of things, you can see here, they will get a pop-up on their screen that says, you can confirm the match or dispute the match. If the scores look right, you just hit confirm match, and then you're done. If you want to dispute the score, like say this last match was entered backwards, right? So that the other team actually won and they just got dyslexic for a second. You just have to hit dispute match, and then the tournament director would get notified as well. So dispute match, and you could confirm that. And then when you go back to the match, you would see that you have a match that's disputed. And so then you'd have to go to the tournament desk to resolve that. So again, each time you are entering a score or confirming a score, you're going to get a text message on your phone as well. So you have two choices. You can either just go have pickleballtournaments.com open on your phone and just kind of refresh your current matches, right? You see that the my matches at the top of that screen there. So kind of once you're in that match section, you have easy access right at the top there to view your current matches. But again, texting is so easy. You just click on it, you're brought right to it, confirm it, enter the score, what have you, and then just keep rolling. And then your next match will get automatically sent to you. So that part's really cool. And I hope that more tournament directors are going to be starting to use this. So get used to this process because it is coming and we're super excited about it. I know it's intimidating at first to do, something new. So we understand that, but it is really easy. And with the automatic links from the text messaging, it does just make it super, super simple. So why don't we head over to the live Q&A and see if we have any questions, if you wouldn't mind dropping them in the Q&A section if you do have any questions, and I will get to them in order if I can answer them. All right, so it looks like we have a bunch of questions, which is wonderful. Seating, first question, how does seating work in amateur? Do both official duper and self-rated duper get used? So there's not a such thing as a self-rated duper, and it depends on the tournament. So if a tournament is set up to use the duper as primary, that will be the primary rating for the tournament seating. If somebody doesn't have a duper, then it'll revert to self-rating, which is what you set up in your profile when you sign up, and then you'll get a duper after that. Andrew's asking about the minimum number of players for a successful tournament. Andrew, that is very subjective. I just ran a little teeny fundraiser tournament last Saturday, a couple days ago here, and that was only 38 people. It was for a little ministry, and they had a ball with their 38 people, and they were so excited about that. It was just on 4 courts. So, and then I've ran tournaments as large as 500 is about the biggest one. Participated in Beer City, which is probably the biggest one I've participated in, is over 1,000 people. And yeah, so it's really more about what kind of brackets you can create, and in that regard. So, Sue, I am so sorry. I do not know what time it will be in Brisbane, Australia. I hope that you got that figured out. What's the fun format available? I'm not sure I understand that question. So Vikram, if you are still on, if you can clarify that question of what's the fun format available. Let's see. We answered the question about seated players. Yes, it is going to be recorded and you can watch that later. Software programs, obviously pickleball.com. That is the best. Let's see. Is there a handicap system to equal players of different skill levels? Not to my knowledge. I don't think there's a handicap. Like if you're talking about the same concept as like a golf handicap, I've never heard of that before. If that's what you mean. If that's not what you mean, you can feel free to clarify your question. So, sorry, it was daylight time. Okay, so Cam is asking, tournaments text me to tell me to go to my assigned court. Could they text 2 numbers versus 1 number? My wife always needs that info, and she's usually away from me watching various games while we wait for the text message. I need to try and find her before going to my court. It's a problem. Cam, I see that. And hopefully what I talked about with, like, my parents came and watched me play at Beer City. So hopefully what I said is helpful. It's just she can find that information. She can see like where you are in the queue and when she needs to start paying attention. And then she can just go to the on-court. What I did with my parents is I just quick opened my phone. I had my group chat with them and I was like, court 12. I don't even know if I said court 12. I might have just said 12 and sent it, and off I went, and it was their job to come find me. So, because they were off to watching the pro players, watching friends, and I know it's so easy to get sidetracked at tournaments. So I would say, but no, we don't have the ability to text two numbers. But hopefully she can watch the on court and in queue, and then you can just shoot her a quick text message if you have your phone out anyway. So let's see here. Going back down. Cam, you're also asking, could tournaments announce the start times for events earlier than the day before? That's hard. They always wait till last minute, which makes it hard to figure out travel plans. Absolutely. If you want to drive, yes. Okay, so this is a tournament related thing. So we don't have any mandates on like you must release your start times at this day. Each tournament is responsible to make their own decisions, right? So, and if tournaments make bad decisions, people are less likely to come back to that tournament. For me personally, for my tournaments, I make it a habit to get start times out no later than the weekend before. That's just something that I do personally. There's other tournaments, like for example, Beer City. They had estimated start times, and they made it very clear that it was estimated start times about a month in advance because of the travel plans, because the tournament was already full. So they recognized that, and they said, you know what, if your bracket changes, it shouldn't change more than like an hour give and take, but here are some estimated start times for you, and let us do our travel plans based on that. So that's something that I would bring up to whoever is running that specific tournament in your area. Bring that concern up to them directly. And that goes for, I see your next question here about if brackets are merged and medals are handed out. That is, again, a specific tournament related question. We don't have any policy that says tournaments must hand out these medals and these medals to this group and these medals to this group. That's a tournament related decision. We can't get involved in each of those decisions, and each tournament kind of has the right to make their own decisions when it comes to how to best manage their own tournaments. I will say for me personally, when brackets are merged, I don't always medal separately with age groups. Sometimes we do. But whenever there's a skill merge, I always medal those separately. It's not required though, just so you know. It's just kind of like a good thing to do because you want to recognize that the people were playing higher than they should or lower than they should, kind of a thing. So Sanjay asking how to choose partners. I would say that's something that you would want to maybe go to your local club or go to your local open plays and see if you can find a good partner. That's kind of how I started doing it, and you just kind of find your group and keep going from there. What is the best way to ensure organizers do not allow sandbagging? That's a specific tournament related question as well. Hang on, I lost the question. That's a specific tournament related question as well. So what I would do is I would ask the tournament directly, what rating system are you using? Because sometimes if they set it up as using a self rating, like my self rating might be 4.0. I actually haven't looked at it in a while. But my duper is 4.7. So if a tournament is set up to run if it's set up to run as a self-rated tournament, I could technically have the option to sign up as a 4.0 player. But most tournaments now are using duper, and hopefully that rating algorithm will get kind of even things out and get better. I personally, in this area, I'm in West Michigan area, and I personally have started to see the duper ratings kind of start evening out or get players kind of better where they should be. We don't have a huge problem around here with sandbagging. Sometimes people do, but a lot of players around here actually play up, which is really great to see. Will we have any mobile apps soon for all the tournaments? all the tournaments are available on pickleballtournaments.com, which you can view from your phone. We don't have an app yet. I am told that's in the works, but it's not out yet. There is quite a few other things ahead in the list. Okay, I think I skipped a couple here, so I'm going to go back. Why does it seem that couples play is so much more popular than individual with tournaments? Are you talking mixed doubles? That might be a area specific thing. So sorry, every time somebody replies to a Q&A, my screen jumps around. So I'm moving you guys just a little bit here. So I'll try my best to get back to where I was. I do see in the chat, yes, this session will be posted to YouTube as well. Usually it's uploaded in the next day or two. Okay, let me get back to where I was. There is a low-level bug. If you found a bug on the website, feel free to send that to support@pickleball.com. They'll want to know about that. In KC, can we register for tournaments when we arrive? So each tournament has their own specific cutoff date for their registration. So you're going to want to contact them if you have a question about a specific tournament. My partner and I want to play mixed doubles, but we are different ages. Usually that's allowed. You have to check with the individual tournament though. But yes, somebody replied to you and did say, usually you have to play with a younger partner. Every once in a while you encounter a tournament where they're like, nope, 50 plus bracket is or below 50 is below 50. You can't. Every once in a while, it's less rare, but I have seen it before. So is there always a desk to go to for entering scores? In my experience, Victor, I haven't been at a tournament that did not have a tournament desk or some sort of, because you have to have results, right? So in order to have results, you have to have a place to enter scores. So I've not been at one. Amy, you're asking about you are 4-2 and he's a 3-4-2 and you're a 3-2. If you want to play mixed doubles, how does that work? You would have to play to the higher bracket. Yes, unless you find like a dupe or combined tournament type of a thing where you can play based on your combined dupe or ratings. Why do tournaments assign courts to a division and just keep them there? For example, 8 teams in a division needs 4 courts, so block off 4 courts. Actually, that's the way I run most of my tournaments. I do a lot of round robins. For the double elimination, though, it doesn't make sense because you're constantly eliminating people. So you should, as a tournament director, we get a lot more people in if we don't have empty courts. So if I have like in that bracket of 8, we only need 4 courts for the first hour, more or less. And after that, we're going down to 2 and then, another 2 as we play those final games. So we're going to have empty courts. And that also makes people mad. But when you're doing a round robin, sure, have your courts there. It just depends on your format or the tournament director's format. But I do that a lot as long as we have the room and the time. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes I've run a round robin tournament and 8 courts and just have done next available court with them. Hey, whatever court you see that's available, just hop on it. And that way people aren't confined to a certain set of courts in that. And it works really well. So that's up to each individual tournament. I never played in a tournament. Should I just sign up for one? You could check Rob with a local coach to see if you have a rating. You can register online for a tournament on pickleballtournaments.com. Just search the tournament. Why don't tournaments use a round robin format using rally scoring for the round robin portion? That way seeding isn't an issue and can be double elimination. So if you do a round robin is different than a double elimination tournament, unless you do a round robin first and then a double elimination after that. That's a lot of tournament stuff going on there. I don't think, for me personally, I would run a tournament like that. But I would do like a round robin, and if I had two pools, maybe a playoff to merge the two pools together, and then do single elimination at that point. Just depends on what you have time for, what the tournament director has time for. Okay, I'm gonna quick skim the chat here because I know sometimes there is a few questions that people leave in the chat. And I'll just quick skim those. Okay, doesn't look like there's, I love that you guys are talking with each other. That's super helpful. Yes, available to view later. And yes, it will be available to play later. Yes, Walt, BCO 14. That sounds about right. 14 amateur courts, 2 pro team like warm up courts, 2 pro team like championship, or the championship court, grandstand court, and then I think they had 2 courts that were taken up with bleachers. So of their 21, and then another one taken up for the market, pickleball market type of a thing. So I think they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 not in use. So yeah, that would make sense. 14. Good math. Good job, Walt. Do you ever have brackets for folks rated below 3.0? That's a specific tournament question. You can ask like your own, like the tournament directors in your area. If you see a tournament that you want to register for, just email the tournament directly and ask them. Okay, I think I'm just getting down to the end of the chat, just really skimming, so I hope that I don't miss somebody. Do we first have to register on pickleballtournaments.com? You have to, in order to register for a tournament, you have to create a profile. So yes, pickleball.com, and then just like hit login or sign up on the top of your page. Verified scores do go right to Duper. Yes. Jim, you were talking about, you weren't aware that this was for using our software. General tournament management discussion. We have like a webinar on best tournament practices. If you want to take a peek at that, that's geared more towards tournament directors and some of the things that we've found helpful in running our tournaments. That's a bummer. I know that sandbagging is a kind of a big problem. I see those posts on Facebook a lot. And I think we're really fortunate that we live in an area that just not a lot of people do that. And it'll be interesting with the algorithm change in Duper of how that changes where you are allowed to play, so to speak. And just so you guys know, mark it on your calendars. On Wednesday, August 12th August 12th. I can't remember if that's a Tuesday. On August 12th, we have a webinar with Tuesday. August 12th, we have a webinar with Duper. And so keep an eye on your emails for that, because that's going to be really interesting. We're going to get a chance to ask them some of the kind of hard questions that players have been asking about. So mark your calendars, keep an eye on your email. I have a registration link ready for you right now, but August 12th, which is a Tuesday, keep an eye on your emails, mark your calendars, and yes, it will be available on our YouTube page after that. Okay, I think Okay, there's a couple more in the questions. Let's see. What's from Scott? What are your thoughts about jumping on empty courts to warm up? Some tournaments do not allow. How are we supposed to warm up? That's a hard question. I get both ways of this because sometimes if you're not using our software, you don't sometimes know what is available for warm up and what's available for a real match and like what is a real match and what's not a real match. So sometimes it's hard to see, but if the tournament director is using our system they get a scorecard or in this case or soon it will be players are going to be entering their own scores, they can see. So I get both ways. For my tournaments personally, we just email people and say, we have no problem with you warming up ahead of time. Just please be courteous when you're kicked off and please be aware of matches that are going on around you. And we don't generally have any problems. So again, kind of specific tournament wise or tournament related thing geared towards specific tournament directors. More of a duper question in regard to sandbagging. Only tournaments get entered into duper, so if only playing a few tourneys, but you think you've improved one just self rates. Yeah, you can do that, or just go, as long as the tournament allows you to play up, you can always play up. You just can't play below your rate. Do all tournaments on Pickleball Tournaments have their reports automatically submitted to duper, or is that a configuration? That's a configuration within each tournament that we can make. So I'll give you a good example of a tournament that doesn't or shouldn't go to duper. I run a tournament in the very middle of Michigan, and they do a parent-child or grandparent-grandchild event, and it's for fun. And so we turn off duper for that because we just say sign up for your best combined rating. So let's say I'm 4.5. My son is 3.5. If we want to play together, we'd probably play in like 4.0. And we give examples of that in our description. Another scenario is if you run like a glow in the dark tournament where you have black lights and the balls are glow in the dark or something like that. That's another case where you would not want to have those reported to duper. So they can be excluded, or a tournament director can just make that decision on their own and just say, you know what, we're not reporting these to duper. That tournament that I was talking about earlier, that was 38 people last week, because it was one general bracket of men's, one general bracket of women's, one general bracket of mixed, just all skills, all ages. Most of them were geared towards mostly the beginner side of things. So it worked out really well. It was still good competition in between them. But the person that was hosting that, or she didn't want the results to go to duper just because it was supposed to be a low-key fundraiser type thing. So again, we just put that information out on the tournament page so that you know. If you have any questions about it, just contact your tournament director directly to say, hey, are these is the ratings going to go towards duper? Just kind of making sure. So okay, I think we have everything. If you guys have any questions for me or any questions in general, feel free to message our customer support team. We're always here to help, support@pickleball.com. And yeah, I hope you guys have a really lovely rest of your day.